welcome. My name is Eva Marble. I am the new choir director at Park City High School. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what the choir is going to sing tonight. They are going to sing a madrigal, which is a vocal chamber ensemble from Shakespeare's time. It requires a lot of independence on parts, and they will be singing a cappella, so they also have to be thinking about that. Our choir is not going to Shakespeare in person this year, but we did record this number last week and we sent it virtually so that we can receive feedback from the judges. So thank you for being here tonight. Without further ado, here is Park City High School Chamber Choir singing Come, Let's Begin.
There we go.
All right, welcome to the Shakespeare Showcase. Up next, we are doing our individual events. We have monologues and scenes. Each of these students will be performing as they will be performing in the competition. So I hope you enjoy.
my name is Layla Arbabi. My number is OK11, and I will be performing A Midsummer's Night Dream, Act 3, Scene 2. My mistress is with a monster in love, near to her close and consecrated bower, while she was in her dull and sleeping hour. A crew of patches, rude mechanicals, who work for bread under Athenian stalls, were met together to rehearse a play intended for great Theseus's nuptial day. The shallowest thick skin of the barren sort, who Pyramus presented in their sport, forsook his scene and entered a break, where I did him at his advantage take. An ass's knoll I fixed on his head, and on his Thisbe must be answered, and forth my mimic comes, when they him spy, as wild geese that the creeping fowler eye, or russet-pated coughs, many in sort, rising and cawing at the gun's report, sever themselves and madly sweep the sky. So at his sight, away his fellows fly, and at our stamp here o'er and o'er one falls, he murder cries and help from Athens calls. Their sense thus weak, lost in their fear thus strong, made senseless things begin to do them wrong. For briars and thorns at their apparel snatch, some sleeves, some hats, from yielders all things catch. I led them on in this distracted fear, and left sweet Pyramus translated there. When at that moment, so it came to pass, Tatiana waked, and straightway loved an ass.
Hello, I am Blake, and OK12, and I will be performing Romeo and Juliet, Act 1, Scene 4. Oh, then I see Queen Mab hath been with you. She is the fairy's midwife. She comes in shape no larger than an agate stone on the forefinger of an alderman, drawn with a team of little atomies over men's noses as they lie asleep. Her wagon spokes are made of the long spinner's legs, her cover of the wings of grasshoppers, her traces of the smallest spiderweb, and her collars of the moonshine's watery beams. Her whip of cricket's bone, the lash of film. Her wagoner, a small gray-coated gnat, not half so big as the little round worm pricked from the lazy finger of a maid. Her chariot, an empty hazelnut made by the joiner squirrel or old grub, time out of mind, the fairies' coachmakers. And in this state, she gallops night by night through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love. Or the courtier's knee that dreams on curtsies straight, or the lawyer's fingers that dream straight on fees, or the lady's lip that straight on kisses dream, which awfully angry Mab with blisters plagues because their breaths with sweet meats tainted are. Sometimes she draws over the nose of a courtier, then dreams he of smelling out a new suit. Sometimes comes she with a tithe pig's tail, tickling a parson's nose as he lies asleep, then dreams he of another benefice. Sometimes she draweth over a soldier's neck, then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, of breeches, ambuscados, Spanish blades, and then anon, drums in his ears, at which he starts and wakes, and being thus frightened, swears a prayer or two, and then sleeps again. This is the same Mab that plats the manes of horses in the night, and bakes the elf-ox into sluttish hares, which once untangled much misfortune bodes. This is that hag, that when maids lie on their backs, she presses them and learns them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she.
Hi, I'm Zach Eagleton. I am OK13. I'll be performing King Richard Act 3, Scene 2. Let's talk of graves, of worms, and of epitaphs. Make dust our paper with rainy eyes, write sorrows on the bosom of the earth. Let's choose executors and talk of wills. And not yet so, for what can we bequeath? Save our deposed bodies to the ground. Our lands, our lives, and all our Bolingbrooks. And nothing can we call our own but death. And that small model of the barren earth, which serve us as paste and cover to our bones. For God's sake, let us sit upon the ground and tell sad stories of the death of kings. How some have been deposed, some slain in war, some haunted by the ghosts they have deposed, some poisoned by their wives, some sleeping killed, all murdered, for within the hollow crown which rounds the mortal temple of a king keeps death his court, and there the antic sits, scoffing at his state and grinning at his pomp, allowing him a breath, a little scene to monarch eyes be feared, and to kill, infusing him with looks of self and vain conceit, as if this flesh which walls about our lives were brass impregnable and humored thus, comes at last with a little pin which bores through his castle walls, and farewell, king. Cover your heads and mock not flesh and blood with solemn reverence. Throw away respect, tradition, form, and ceremonious duty. For ye have but mistook me all this while. I live with bread, like you, feel want, taste grief, need friends subjected thus. How can you say to me, I am a king?
I'm Kenny,
I'm Ella. I'm Jade.
and we'll be performing A Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 2, Scene 1. How now, spirit? Whither wander you?
Over hill, over dale.
Through a bush, through a briar.
Over park, over pale.
Through a flood, through a fire.
I do wander everywhere.
Swifter than the moon's sphere.
And I do serve the fairy queen.
to do her orbs upon the green.
The cowslips tall, her pensioners be.
In their gold coats spots you see.
These be rubies, the fairy favorers.
In their freckles live their saviors.
I must collect the dewdrops here.
And hang a pearl in every cowslip's ear.
Farewell, thou lava spirits, I'll be gone.
Our queen and all our elves, come here, anon.
Thy king doth keep his reveals here tonight. Take heed the queen, come not within his sight. For Oberon is passing, fell and wrath, because that she, as her attendant hath, a loved boy, stolen from an Indian king. She never had so sweet a changeling, and jealous Oberon would have the child, knight of his train to trace the forest wild. But she perforce withholds the loved boy, crowns him with flowers, and makes him all her joy. But they never meet in grove or green, by fountain clear or spangled starlight sheen. But they do swear that all their elves for fear creep into acorn cups and hide them there.
Either I mistake your shape or making quiet.
Or else you are that shrewd and knavish sprite.
Called Robin, good fellow. Are not you he?
That frightens the maidens of the villagery.
Skim milk, and the laborers in the quern.
And bootless make the breathless housewife churn.
Well, and sometimes to bear the bear to bear no barn.
Mislead night wanderers laughing at their harm.
To those hobgoblins who call you sweet fuck,
You do their work and they shall have good luck.
are not you he?
Thou speakest right. I am the merry wanderer of the night. I jest to Oberon and make him smile. When I a fat and bean-fed horse beguile, neighing in likeness of a filly foal, and sometimes lurk I in a gospel's bowl, in very likeness of a roasted crab. And when she drinks, on her lips I bob, on her withered dewlap pour the ale. The wisest ant, telling the saddest tale, sometimes for 3-footed stools mistaketh me. Down topples she, and the tailor coughs and slides into and starts crying. And waxen on their mirth and knees and swear, a mere hour was never wasted there. But room, fairy. Here comes Oberon.
And here my mistress. Would that he were gone.
I realized about halfway through that last speech I could take my mask off. All right, so next up is our last admission into the Shakespearean competition. It is our ensemble scene. It is what we've been working on in our productions class since school began. They have 10 minutes to bring on their set, take on their show, and then take everything off. So we thank you so much for coming and enjoy this last piece of Hamlet.
Okay, 31. For us and for our tragedy, here stooping at your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently. Is this a prologue or the posy of a ring? 'Tis brief, my lord. As woman's love. Full 30 times have Phoebus' cart gone round, Neptune's salt wash, and Tellus' orbed ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen about the world times 12 30's been, since love our heart and hymen did our hands unite the mutual in most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count, or ere love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state, that I distrust you. Yet though I distrust, discomfort you, my lord, and nothing must. For women's fear and love holds quantity, in either aught or in extremity. Now what my love is, proof hath made you know. And as my love is sized, my fear is so. Where love grows great, the littlest doubts are fear. Where little fears grow great, great love grows there.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers their functions leave to do. And thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and happily one is kind. For husband shalt thou.
Oh, confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. And second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who'd killed the first.
Wormwood, wormwood!
The instances that which second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine off we break. Purpose is but slave to memory, of violent birth, but poor validity, which now like fruit unripe sticks to the tree, but fall unshaken when they mellow be. Most necessary, 'tis we forget, to pay ourselves with ourselves is debt which ourselves is passion we propose. The passion ending doth the purpose lose. The violence of either grief or joy, their own enactures which to themselves destroy. Where joy most revels, grief doth most lament. Grief joys, joy grieves on slender accident. This world is not for I, nor 'tis not strange that our love should with our fortunes change. For 'tis a question left us yet to prove, whether love lead fortune, or else fortune love. The great man down you mark his favorite flies. The poor advance makes friends of enemies. And hitherto doth love on fortune tend, that who not in need shall never lack a friend. And who in want a hollow friend doth try, directly seasons him his enemy. But orderly to end where I begun, our wills and fates do so contrary run. Our devices still are overthrown. Our thoughts are ours, there ends none of our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to me give food, nor heaven light. Sport and repose lock for me day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope. An anchor's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy. Meet what I would have well and it destroy. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife. If once a widow, ever I be wife.
If she should break it now!
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep. Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady protests too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it?
No, they do but jest. Poison in jest, no offense in the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. Marry how? Tropically. This plays the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the duke's name, his wife Baptista. You shall see anon, 'tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your majesty and we that have free souls, it touches us not. Let the gall jade wince, our withers are unwrung. This one is Lucinius, nephew to the king.
You were as good as chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love if I could see the puppets dallying.
You are keen, my lord, you are keen.
It would cost you a groaning to take off my edge.
Still better, still worse.
So you must take your husbands. Begin a murderer pox. Leave thy damnable faces and begin. Come, the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands ab, drugs spit, in time a green Confederate season, else no creature seen, though mixturing of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's band, thrice blasted, thrice infected, thy natural magic and dire property, on whose some lie, assert immediately.
He poisons him in the garden for his estate. His name's Gonzago, the story is extant in written choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
The king rises.
What? Crying false fire?
How fares, my lord? Give her the play!
Give me some lights! Light!
Why, let the stricken deer go weep, the heart ungalled play. For some must watch, while some must sleep. So runs the world away, would not discern a forest of feathers, if the rest of my fortunes turn Turk with me, with 2 provincial roses on my raised shoes. Get me a fellowship and a cry of players, sir.
Half a share.
A whole one, aye? For thou dost know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantled was of Jove himself, and now reigns here a very, very Pajac.
You might have rhymed.
Oh, good Horatio. I'll take the ghost's word for £1,000, disperceive.
Very well, my lord.
Upon the talk of poisoning.
I did very well note him.
Aha! Come some music, come the recorders, for if the king like not the comedy, well then belike he likes it not purdy. Come some music.
Good, my lord. Vouchsafe me a word with you.
Sir, a whole history.
The king, sir,
Aye, sir, what of him?
is in his retirement, marvelous distempered.
With drink, sir?
Nay, sir, rather with choler.
Your wisdom should show itself far more richer to signify this to his doctor. For me to put him to his purgation would perhaps plunge him into far more choler.
Good, my lord, put your discourse into some frame, and start not wildly for my affair.
I am tamed, sir, pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, good, my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's command. If not, this shall be the end of our business.
Sir, I cannot
What, my lord?
make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased, but such an answer as I can make you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more, but to the matter, my mother,
Then
you
thus
say.
she says your behavior has struck her into amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother! But Tell me, is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration? Impart.
She desires to speak with you in her closet. Ere you go to bed?
We shall obey. Were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
So I do still by these pickers and stealers.
Good, my lord. What is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Aye, but sir, while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty.